When the US vice president appeared in the stands with his wife, the boos were immediate, loud, and unmistakable. This was not a handful of scattered whistles, but a collective and very public reaction, broadcast live to a global television audience.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President, JD Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh, those are not, those are a lot of boos for him. Whistling, jeering, some applause.
Olympic organizers quickly realized how serious the situation was. The International Olympic Committee issued an unusual appeal, asking spectators not to boo the US delegation, a rare move at an event promoted as non-political. The fact that the IOC felt compelled to intervene showed that the public reaction had gone far beyond what organizers could consider normal, but the appeal changed nothing. The boos did not stop, and the message of protest continued to echo clearly through the stadium. One factor that made the reaction in Milan especially intense was the US delegation's association with controversial security forces. Reports linking ICE to the Olympic context sparked particular outrage among the Italian public. Local authorities and the people of Milan viewed this as an unnecessary intrusion and a symbol of the hardline policies they oppose. Even though US officials later tried to reassure observers that ICE was not carrying out operations there, the message failed to calm public anger. The incident in Milan was also not the first time US symbols have faced negative reactions at international sporting events. Previously, the US national anthem had been booed at an international hockey tournament following controversial remarks by Donald Trump about Canada. When symbols long considered sacred are openly rejected, it signals that dissatisfaction has moved beyond individuals and begun to attach itself to the image of the nation itself. Yet the Trump-Vance administration appeared unwilling to treat these signs as a serious warning. Instead of adjusting its messaging or approach, it continued to dismiss such reactions as the product of hostile media or a biased crowd. This perspective not only denies reality, but also widens the gap between the US and the rest of the world. After the wave of boos in Milan, the response from the Trump-Vance administration showed no sign of reflection or reassessment, only familiar denial. When asked about JD Vance being booed at the Olympic opening ceremony, Donald Trump expressed surprise, even calling it hard to believe, insisting that JD Vance is well-liked.
Great job.
Did you see that the Vice President got booed during the opening ceremony, though? What do you make of that sort of frosty? The Vice President got booed during the opening ceremony. What do you make of that frosty?
No, I didn't see that. Is that true? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's surprising because people like him. Well, I mean, he is in a foreign country, you know, in all fairness, but he doesn't get booed in this country.
This reaction not only downplayed the incident, but revealed a deeper problem, an administration that seems increasingly detached from reality, operating inside a closed feedback loop where all criticism is treated as hostility and all external signals are dismissed. Trump's surprise at international public backlash is nothing new. In the past, he has brushed off boos at domestic sporting events, from football stadiums to major tournaments. But Milan was different. This was not a domestic crowd or political opponents at home, but an international audience at a globally symbolic event. Ignoring or belittling this reaction does not make the problem disappear. It only sharpens the contrast between how the Trump-Vance administration sees the world and how the world sees them. For many observers, JD Vance does not appear as a strong or respected leader, but as a figure defined defined by insecurity and contradiction. He talks about strength and masculinity, yet appears in moments that require an IOC appeal just to avoid being booed. He speaks about defending order, yet represents an administration that has disrupted diplomatic norms. These contradictions make him an easy target, and when the Milan crowd raised its voice, it was not only JD Vance they were rejecting, but everything he represents. What is notable is that the reaction in Milan did not stop at the stands or on television. Outside the stadium, protests continued, with clear messages opposing the presence of ICE and the policies of the US administration. These developments echo a long tradition in US sports, where athletes have repeatedly used their platforms to speak out on social and human rights issues. From civil rights struggles in the 20th century to modern movements against injustice, sports have never been fully separate from politics. Calls to keep politics out of sports tend to surface only when the message clashes with someone's own interests or views. In the case of Milan, the Trump-Vance administration appeared not to grasp that the Olympics are not a stage where images can simply be imposed or messages tightly controlled. When the IOC had to urge spectators not to boo, it revealed how concerned organizers were about the event turning into a forum for protest. But that appeal also underscored a deeper truth. US soft power, once strong enough to shape the international space, is no longer sufficient to prevent such open reactions. This decline in soft power did not happen overnight. It is the result of years of unpredictable foreign policy, divisive rhetoric, and an imposing approach toward both rivals and allies. When countries once seen as friends begin to feel threatened or dismissed, backlash becomes only a matter of time. Milan, therefore, was not an anomaly, but a marker. As vice president, JD Vance should have been someone capable of easing these tensions. Instead, he became the focal point of public anger, because his positions and statements convinced many that this administration has no intention of changing course. When a vice president is booed at the Olympics, it is not merely a personal failure, but a failure of foreign policy strategy and national image. All of this leads to a larger question. How does America want the world to see it? For decades, the US cultivated an image of leadership, imperfect but capable of self-correction. What unfolded in Milan suggests that image is being replaced by another, one in which power is exercised without persuasion, and criticism is treated as hostility. The boos in Milan, therefore, should not be understood as simple disrespect, but as a clear political message. They were the international public's way of saying they do not accept what the Trump-Vance administration represents. Ignoring that message will not make it disappear. It will only ensure that it is repeated in other stadiums, at other events, with increasing intensity.